Like I was going to say those things, but he already said them, which is why I don't need to say it again. But the only thing that you can shit on Ilhan Omar about, the only thing that is like the edge case that you could fucking shit on Ilhan Omar on is the hypnotized language that she used when she was like, Israel hypnotized America or the world or whatever the fuck she said a very long time ago. That is, again, like nothing in comparison to what Marjorie Taylor Greene has said a long ass fucking time ago. That's not the reason why they're shitting on her. The reason why they're shitting on her is because she has criticized Israel now, and they actually, there is more you can shit on Ilhan Omar over. She said she said Thatcher was her female icon. That was pretty bad, but that's not something that these dipshits would ever get upset about at all. That's normal stuff that, you know, every fucking Democrat and Republican says. She did say that. She said Thatcher was a girl boss. She sucks at Among Us? No, she doesn't. She was really good at fucking murdering people at Among Us. Was that a joke? What? No, that wasn't a joke. She didn't say Thatcher was a girl boss, but she said something like, she said something along the lines of like Thatcher was her like icon or idol or something like that. Anyway, Ilhan Omar is one of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest congresspersons in contemporary American politics. I love her. I think she's awesome. She's my favorite politician, that's for sure. I like her more than AOC even. I think she's awesome. She's great. She is very fucking brave. Okay, for being able to do what she does, she is literally fucking brave. You can call me a simp all you want, but this person is at the crosshairs of the Democratic Party. She's at the crosshairs of the Republican Party all the time, and the Democrats are gigantic pieces of shit for constantly throwing her under the bus, or at least lighting the fire over and over again, allowing Republicans to even use this as a line of attack to be like, yeah, Ilhan Omar is anti-Semitic, actually. That's true. She is anti-Semitic. Like, fuck you. You guys are all pieces of shit for not defending her. I have tremendous fucking respect for her. I think she is brilliant. I think she's great. She is a much-needed voice, and that's all I gotta fucking say. And yeah, I am very much on the Ilhan Omar Defense Brigade. One of the funniest arguments was when she talked about AIPAC and the power that AIPAC holds, like the power of influence AIPAC wields over the American Congress. And everyone was like, that's so anti-Semitic. It's literally a fucking lobbying firm that's not anti-Semitic. Criticizing Israel is not saying Jews are bad, okay? And beyond that, criticizing AIPAC, which is a special interest lobbying group for Israel, for American Israelis, but operates at the behest of Israel, that has literally fucking curbed back American free speech laws in the most significant and most unconstitutional way possible, successfully, by the way, by making teachers and shit sign like BDS forms before they can get a job. Saying that is a powerful lobby is anti-Semitism is psychotic. Especially considering the fact that Israel's most staunch defenders in this country are not American Jews, with the exception of some very powerful and very wealthy American Jews. Haim Saban on the Democratic side, Sheldon Adelson, rest in piss, on the Republican side. With the exception of some people, American Jews are conflicted on Israel. They are not fully on board with Israel. It's actually the fucking white evangelical Protestants that love Israel and like zealots decide that Israel can never do anything bad, and actually they should continue killing Palestinians. So, feel like hypnotizing the world is a pretty accurate statement. Is it wrong because anti-Semitic people can feel emboldened by this rhetoric? Hypnotizing is definitely a fucking callback to. I mean, dude, like Jews can do hypnosis and shit like that is regular anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Sorry, that's just the truth. Okay, like that has been. I've talked about conspiracy theories and how anti-Semitism is rooted within the heart of most conspiracies before. Like literally, fucking. It is a very common conspiracy theory. It is a very common fascist talking point. Like, you know, Jewish curse, Jewish hypnosis, they are dog whistles for sure. You're stretching, bro. Israel's definitely hypnotized the world. If you live on no trust to both sides of this shit. Man, I criticize fucking Israel all the goddamn time. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm simply stating that using, dude, I can't even fucking say using hypnotizing was a bad fucking bad way to talk about that. No, it's not. It is literally a bad way to talk about it. But outside of that, you can't attack her on anything. It's fucking bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Unless she means Gal Gadot, who has hypnotized me into believing that she should be the leading actress in movies, regardless of her limited range. Yeah. You substitute hypnotize to manipulate, and boom, it's done. You fixed that problem. That is some OG anti-Jew, anti-Roma shit. Yup. For sure. 100%. So, look, dude, I guys, I am unfortunately too well versed in conspiracy theories. So when I hear something like that, I'm like, that you could say that that's anti-Semitic for sure. Regardless, though, it doesn't matter because again,
yep.
It's just fucking bullshit. The rest of it is bullshit. The rest of it is a massive stretch, and Democrats engaged in that, by the way. Like Democrats actually fucking engaged in this witch hunt against Ilhan Omar. So didn't she say she didn't know hypnotism was linked with anti-Semitism? She did. She did say that. I'm stating that like she, even though she did apologize for it, that is like the only thing that you could ever fucking criticize her for her usage of the word hypnosis because of its fucking anti-Semitic dog whistle basically. But she herself is ESL. That could have been part of the reason. But again, she fucking apologized for it. Doesn't mean literally hypnosis. She means manipulated. And regardless of that, I'm still 100% on board and defending her. English is her third, fourth language. Yeah, it's not even fucking second language. Most people don't even know that, though. Most people don't think that's the fucking anti-Semitism. Most people think she's just anti-Semitic because she has a fucking hijab and she's brown and she's Muslim. Okay? That's the reality. I'm sorry. That's literally the fucking reality. Most people just think, oh, you're Muslim. You must be anti-Semitic. You must hate Jews. No one, and absolutely no one fucking ever says criticizing Saudi Arabia is criticizing Islam, okay? And they shouldn't say that. I criticize Saudi Arabia all the goddamn time. Not a single person has ever come up to me and been like, dude, I can't believe how fucking Islamophobic you are. But as soon as you fucking criticize Israel, okay? Oh, dude, you must be anti-Semitic. Why are you being anti-Semitic? Fucking bullshit, okay? It is an used and abused fucking defense mechanism for anyone who dare criticize the IDF. Israelis themselves do not. There are Israelis themselves who do not like what the fuck Bibi Netanyahu is doing. Plenty of them don't like it. There are American Jews who are definitely not on board with what Israel is doing to Palestinians. They don't like it. It's fucking bullshit. Literally linking fucking every action that Israel takes, no matter how violent, to the international Jewish community is psychotic, and it's fucking bullshit. And it's the number one line of defense, and it's the number one way to just like abolish leftists from every fucking conversation. Ironic that I'm wearing the Jezza shirt today as I talk about this, because that was literally how they fucking railed on Jezza. And if you want to understand that reactionary right-wing conservatives do not give a single fuck about Israel or anything like that, and specifically use this as an attack point against the left or whoever the fuck they've declared to be bad, Jeremy Corbyn's story is perfect. The entire reactionary news apparatus in the UK literally cumstered and dumpstered Jeremy Corbyn and basically handicapped him into not being able to talk about anything else. This is the only thing that they talked about during the election cycle. And meanwhile, while that was fucking happening to Jeremy Corbyn, well, everyone was like, "Oh, dude, you're anti-Semitic. Like, can you please respond to the anti-Semitism accusations?" On the other side, the fucking Tories were like building Nancy Astor statues. Okay? Like literally, a woman who has said Hitler had some good ideas about the Jews was getting a statue, while the entire right-wing media, or not the entire right-wing media, the entire British media was shitting on Jeremy Corbyn. It's fucking bullshit. Okay? Anyway. So, thoughts on BDS being labeled anti-Semitic? No, it's bullshit. Yeah, it's and BDS originally was against the South African apartheid. By the way, Israel is an apartheid state. Sorry, that's the truth. Yeah, a survey came out where 40% of British Jews would have seriously considered fleeing Britain if he was the new prime minister. That's how absolutely deranged that media cycle was. Yeah, I know. I remember. I was there. I was covering it. The irony is, yes, the people that did that report on Labour anti-Semitism refused to do a report on the Tory Islamophobia. But my favorite report from that group, by the way, was, get ready for this, universities in Scotland and Ireland, are they too Anglophobic? That group. And this shows you how fucking insanely conservative they are. They literally wrote a report on how Scottish and Irish universities, and I think universities in the Wales, Welsh universities were too negative towards the British, or too negative towards the English. If anything, they weren't Anglophobic enough, bruv. It's true. They literally fucking, like, it is just, conservatives are the same everywhere, guys. That's the point, okay? Conservatives are the fucking same everywhere on the planet, no matter where you go. That is like textbook Republican Party shit, dude. Textbook. Stop lying. All the Muslims are anti-Semitic, and you know that, LMAO. Stop capping. All the Muslims are anti-Semitic. Everybody knows that. You just lie. I'm a Turk myself, and I know it, and you know it too. It's in their culture, in their religion. It does not have anything to do with Israel. Muslims love to conquer, but when they get conquered, they start crying, and lefties kill themselves to protect them. Don't lie to yourself. Wow, this guy seems like a real... Young Dagger Dick seems like a real Turkish Muslim, huh? Bro, you are capping. I'm a Turkish Muslim, bro. I know. Wow, I'm going to ban him because he outed me. Yeah. Fucking. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. It's so great. Again, conservatives, the same everywhere. Okay, it's great. Conservatives love to talk about like how the Democrats want to do one world order. They want a fucking communist one world government. And then they literally operate in the exact same way. Like they have a hive mind. And again, acting like you are the person acting like you're from the identity of the fucking group of individuals is like textbook conservatism. Oh yeah, I'm a gay black man, and I don't think that I don't think it's bad to say the N word or the F word. I like it. I like it a lot. As a gay black man, I think it's bullshit that people are saying. It's actually homophobic if you don't say the F word and the N word. It's racist. Okay, brother. Thank you. Yeah. Hasanabi. I'm actually a black man, a black man, and racism died when Obama was president, and he's Kenyan. So, and he was born in the United States. We did that for, I'm black, but as a fellow black, we all know Obama was from Kenya. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, let's keep
Marjorie
going.
Taylor Greene responded to McConnell saying that by tweeting this, that the real cancer for the Republican Party is weak Republicans who only know how to lose gracefully. This is why we are losing our country. How do you see it, Josh?
Yeah, it's so absurd, Dana. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it. I mean, the things that this woman has said over the last 2 years while she's been campaigning, let alone beyond that, go way beyond the pale. But to respond to what Juan was saying, I think the difference between Republicans and Democrats in Congress is...
Why do you defend right-wing religions? Because religion isn't fucking inherently right-wing, dipshit. It is the fucking right-wing assholes or conservatives that make religion into a weapon for the conservative movement. Absolutely zero people, when faced with the religious scripture, absolutely zero people think religion is supposed to be about, like, unless you're like a r/atheism guy. Zero people think like religion is supposed to be all about supply side Jesus and the economic lessons that supply side Jesus taught us about how curing the lepers was actually a conversation about the importance of making sure that your private insurer was able to take as much money off the top as possible as the middleman. Like that's not how that fucking works. Like, you got the most anti-capitalist brown motherfucker who was a hippie, who was literally fucking curing poor people for free and shit. And Christians all around the world in positions of power make it seem like Jesus was literally fucking pro-capitalism. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. Religion has good lessons in it and bad lessons in it. It's just what you make it. I have this conversation every fucking time. Religion has been used. Christianity was used to justify slavery. Christianity was also at the forefront of the abolition movement. Christianity has been justified. Christianity has been used to justify the oppression of black people. Martin Luther King was a fucking reverend. Stop alienating billions of people for believing some shit that I don't even fucking believe in either. But they believe in it. They believe in it super fucking hard. They think it's their entire world. Okay? You believe in psychotic nonsense as well, my friend. That's just the truth. You just don't recognize it as being psychotic. We all have dogmatic thoughts about or dogmatic beliefs on certain issues. Most of you think capitalism is the greatest economic organization that the world has ever seen and no other way to live. You believe in the capitalism dogma. Are you religious? No, man. No, of course I'm not fucking religious, dude. What are you talking about?
I just got here and he's already stunned.
Is that when extremism threatens to define their party, you've watched time and again Republicans step forward and say, no, thank you, we'll define ourselves. And that goes all the way back to Congressman McCarthy talking about Steve King. If you remember on the racist comments he had McCarthy moved very quickly to strip him of his committee assignments. They are considering doing the same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Conversely, you watch Nancy Pelosi do absolutely nothing about Ilhan Omar, and in fact embrace her and put her on plum committee assignments. So look, I think extremism can go on both sides. I think the vast majority of Americans would agree with that, but there's only really one party that's taking acknowledgement of it.
How about that, Juan?
Well, I think we have to define what we consider to be extremism. I think attacks on Israel that are unfounded are political. I don't know that I would say they're extreme. I think threatening...
Wait for it. Build up for it. Anti-Semitism incoming. Are you ready? Juan, are you anti-Semitic? Why do you think it's okay to criticize Israel this way? He's not going to say criticize Israel. He's going to say, why do you want every Jew living on Palestinian Israeli soil to fucking get eviscerated, Juan? Because you must feel that way.
Well, a lot of people take it to be anti-Semitic, as you know.
Well, we can agree on that if you want, but I'm just saying it's not shooting somebody in the head. It's not suggesting that somehow the Jewish community was involved in paying for a laser to start the wildfires in California. To me, that is something that is disinformation, and it tears again at the fabric of the society. We can have arguments over Israel, and we can even say that we think some of them are anti-Semitic, and we can have repercussions, and I think there are justified repercussions for anti-Semitic statements.
But let's be clear.
By the way, the other part of this that I don't mention enough, unfortunately, is that part of the reason why people get very, very skeptical or very, very worried as soon as you hear about criticisms of Israel is because a lot of actual fascists will couch their hatred of Jews and their hatred of Jewish people, their anti-Semitism, in legitimate criticisms of Israel. So, and one way to figure out whether someone's a fascist or not is a denial of the Holocaust, right? Like, that's because fascists fucking hate Jews for the most part. Even if they hate Jews privately, they publicly might love Israel. Viktor Orban is a great example of this. But again, like Nazis and fascists, they deny the Holocaust. They say, oh, I'm just criticizing Israel. That's why you got people like fucking Nicholas Fuentes, for example, that shit on Israel routinely. But also, they're on top of that, they're like literally fucking fascists. Like, they don't give a shit. They don't actually care. They don't care about Israel doing unspeakable acts of violence against the Palestinians, which they unfortunately have sovereignty over. They fucking care about it because they hate the Jews. One way to recognize that is by asking them what their opinions are on Islam or Muslims in general. Okay? But that's part of the reason why some people are worried as soon as they hear someone be critical of Israel or whatever. And they assume, like, wait a minute, is this person fucking anti-Semitic?
What she's doing is of a whole different kettle of fish.
One might be weird and kooky, Josh. The other is seen as racist.
Yeah, but we're talking about just whataboutism, right? How about all of it go? I mean, I don't understand why it is that we have to look at...
Wait, but you're literally defending the whataboutism. What the fuck? Wait, what? Jews are a race? Jews literally, like, Jews are closer to a fucking race than any other religion. We always say, like, oh, you're being racist when we talk about Muslims. And people are like, well, that's fucking a belief. That's like it's an ethnicity. Like, there's different ethnicities within the Jewish religion. But as far as like, cultural background, actually, it's not a race, but Jews have different ethnic backgrounds internationally. You have Sephardic Jews. You have, wait, what the fuck was the other one? There's like three. There's like three main ethnic groups. Ashkenazism, yes. Ashkenazism, sorry. Sephardism and Mizrahi. So again, You can totally be fucking racist towards Jewish people. You can totally be racist towards fucking Muslim people in a similar way. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and people do that all the time. There is this like notion that like, Jewish people are not a race. Shut the fuck up. Like, dude, yeah, but it's the same as fucking how people say Islam is not a race, and therefore you can be Islamophobic and it's not racist. You're just criticizing religion, and then whenever Islamophobic people are fucking angry, they go out and kill sick people. Not like ill, I mean sick. Why? Because they look Muslim. You understand? It is ethnicity. It is ethnicity. Not a race, but racialized and put in proximity to blackness is similar to Muslims, as you said. Yes. Racialized.
At one side or the other and put our jerseys on and understand that, like, okay, I got to defend the indefensible here because they wear, you know, a Republican shirt. No, thank you. Marjorie Taylor Greene, no, thank you. Ilhan Omar, no, thank you. Let's call it a day.
Let me get in here on another topic.
Let's not fucking call it a day, dipshit. What the fuck do you mean, dude? Let's call it a day. Come on, let's get one. One for one. Blood for the blood god.
And that is the idea that people are trying to figure out, coming up with some ideas to deal with disinformation. One of them would be, this is from the New York Times, how the Biden administration can help solve our reality crisis by creating some sort of reality czar. It was just an idea he put forward, but here's what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had to say about it.
There's absolutely a commission that's being discussed. We're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation.
Yo, that's terrifying, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not on board with that at all. Fuck. It's needed, but also at the same time, I'm legitimately fucking scared of that, dude. I don't want the fucking American government to decide what's true and what's not fucking true. That's crazy. That's terrifying. Then Ilhan Omar will go to jail. Okay, I will go to jail.
So she said that earlier this month, Juan. What's your take on it? You love free speech.
I do, but I also realize we're in an era of social media where lots of disinformation, just pure distortion, is allowed, and I think it is. You know, it's hurting our political discourse to the point it's hard to have an honest discussion without people on the extremes. And, you know, I just want to say thank you to Josh, because I think we don't need to put on red and blue uniforms to say when we're dealing with lies and things that have add no value to real discussion and attempts to solve real problems in our country, we all need to come together and say, stop it.
We'll leave it on that.
I'm worried about that for sure, because whenever there's any sort of rollback on free speech, it's the fucking left that gets owned about it. It's the left that gets owned in that circumstance.
I can't believe I have been on this ride for 15 months.
You kind of shit on her for it, but Angela Merkel is right on that front. Who decides then corporations is a gray issue? I think having hate speech restrictions is not a bad thing. It goes against the First Amendment, or I guess it's a reinterpretation of the First Amendment. I don't have a disagreement on that front. But having the government decide what is truthful and what's not truthful, and like what they will do on top of that, I feel like is a little bit worrisome. Not even a little bit, a lot worrisome actually. Hate speech restrictions similar to what they have in European countries is not the end of the world. It's not a bad thing overall. It still doesn't stop Nazism, okay? Like, that's the problem, is that, like, fascism still grows.
Hassel has buff, Hassel has buff, Hassel.
How about standards for the things to use word news reporting or everything else explicitly state that they're entertainment? What are you supposed to do in the even another of they stole the election disinformation campaign on MSM? I think holding platforms accountable is unironically important
Taylor
in that
Hannig, and she's
situation.
on
I don't know.
everything
I have to think
Bagel
about it
SDK
further.
at 4 months
Because,
hassle
like,
from NJ.
the reason, the way that this comes through, brain dead take, it's 100% a lib policy that doesn't do jack shit good. The issue is, like, media companies have terms of service, but they don't fucking follow through on the terms of service. They never do. They never restrict hate speech. I mean, guys, Mark Zuckerberg literally fucking said openly, you can deny the Holocaust on my platform and I won't ban you. They only recently changed that rule. Okay? And I don't know. Well, I know how to solve it, but the problem is solving this issue is going to take a fuckload of manpower and a lot of time. These are growing pains that we're experiencing as internet is still a relatively new technology. Okay? This kind of freedom of being able to reach to billions of people if you want to, if you are lucky enough or if you've worked hard enough, is a relatively new thing. There is now unlimited access to all kinds of information out there. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. Okay? The most significant way you can combat it is by educating people, teaching media literacy, teaching critical thinking, not fucking defunding our public schools over and over again, and reappropriating those funds to private institutions and you know, charter schools and shit like that. But again, that takes a long ass time. A statistic on Italy that 4% Italians denied the Holocaust in 2004 and 15% denied it in 2020. Disinformation is based on the intent to mislead, while misinformation is usually accidental. The potential law should make that clear. It's all about intent. Yeah, that's one way, I guess, but again, who decides what's truthful and what's not? What's your take on Germany's hate speech laws? Good. That's not a problem. It's not a... I don't have a problem with Germany's hate speech laws. It's also not a fucking solution, though, as you see what is going on with the AfD's resurgence or rise of influence in Germany. They just look for other ways around it, right? It becomes a game. But the real reason why that's occurring is still the underlying material conditions, the socioeconomic situation that working class Germans are subjected to that makes them ripe to be radicalized. What is the solution to hate speech? Just curious, Puggo. What? I already just told you. It's not easy. I'm German. Sorry, you don't have a clue about Germany. How much money do you get for every ad break? How the fuck can you remember things so good? You so racist. You so racist. Huh.
PugChamp mega cringe.
Tell me, my friend, what's up? What's up with the AFDs? Are they good? Are they good or are they bad? You wanna clarify? You probably are German. But they can still be, no, they horrible dickheads, but they shrink. And so their growth originally wasn't a consequence of reactionary politics taking root in Germany, misinformation, regardless of German disinfo laws that are set in place as the working class gets agitated from austerity measures, and you see an influx of immigrants coming into the country, and all of a sudden, even a country like Germany, whose fucking entire economy is what it is right now as a consequence of actual Muslim immigration, ironically, Turkish immigration, at a pivotal moment, is now anti-immigrant. They're anti-immigrant now because they think immigrants are the same shit that conservatives believe in America. They're taking our jobs. They don't believe in the culture. They don't want to integrate, blah, 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 all this other shit. And part of the reason why people get so caught up in these sorts of narratives is because of the austerity measures they implement. Same with like Sweden. Ironically, yes. Okay, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Now you're agreeing with me.
Hello,
well, I guess I do know what I'm talking
the
about.
Stream and education you give us, Sindake has buff. My bidet had really high water pressure and, well, am I gay now?
Anyway. Okay. Senator Manchin calls for bipartisanship on the COVID relief plan. Let's move on.
Democratic Senator Joe Manchin believes the stimulus needs to be more targeted, and he joins us now from the Capitol. Senator Manchin, great to have you.
Oh, the House committee is live deciding the fate of Marjorie Taylor Greene and removing her from Congress in this unprecedented move.
That's the point I'm making. I'm not, don't misunderstand what I'm saying to defend the indefensible, because I think these comments are indefensible.
8
I
months
just think
later,
there's a different and better way to proceed here, and that's the subject of my remarks. So I know my friend would understand that, but I just wanted to be clear for the record. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield
It's not
back.
from Congress, sorry. It's just from committees.
Very much, and again, I mean, we can go down these rabbit holes of
Okay, I don't want to talk. I don't want to watch this sleeper right now.
With us, so you're the man of the hour here. Good. What's it going to be? Is this going to be closer to $2 trillion in this package?
The funniest thing about Joe Manchin is that he always looks confused. Like, he always seems to be in a state of shock. Okay? Like, there's a look on his eyes. This is not a good pause screen for it, but it's always like, I don't know what's going on. He just has this like weird nervous look on his eyes every fucking day.
Package, or is it going to end up being more targeted?
Mika, the worst thing we can do is put a price tag on it. We have to get what the needs of the people are, and basically how we keep the economy going, how we keep people basically ready for this economy to come roaring back, and they're prepared to be part of it. So if it's 1.9 trillion, so be it. If it's a little smaller than that, and we find a targeted need, and that's what we're going to do. But I want it to be bipartisan. So if they think that they're going to we're going to throw all caution to the wind and just shove it down people's throats, that's not going to happen. Chuck Schumer said yesterday on the floor, he said, this is going to be a bipartisan process. We encourage a bipartisan process. That means Democrats and Republicans will have amendments. We have many opportunities to make the necessary changes and make your point. And that's what it's about. The process needs to work.
Okay. You don't think the minimum wage increase should be attached to this?
I don't.
And you also don't think it should be $15 an hour, where you and I are going to strongly disagree. But explain, if you could.
I sure will. Thank you, Mika. First of all, it doesn't fit within the Byrd rule. Okay, it has to be within budgetary items. That's not in the budget item, but the parliamentarian will rule on that. And you said, well, you don't agree. The bottom line is I believe that anybody that goes to work in the morning, works a 40-hour week, works a 2,000-hour year, a work year, that's 2 weeks off, basically they should be above the minimum wage as far as with the poverty guidelines. That would be $10.86. And I just said, don't you think it's reasonable for it to have a flat rate of $11 and then index it from there? The larger states that have higher costs and things, they're already at 15.
Dude, the irony is like, if there's one state that benefits from fucking a $15 minimum wage increase, is literally West Virginia. Like, god damn, what a fucking demon, dude. The irony, of course, is that they say shit like this when, again, it doesn't fucking matter because states will be able to readjust certain states will be able to readjust. It's not immediate. It's not an immediate price hike. You can literally cap it for businesses and like small businesses that will have a separate price hike, separate wage hike in comparison to big businesses that exist in West Virginia. But that's not the reason why he's arguing from this point of view. And by the way, even fucking neoliberals are on board with this. Like, head Twitter neoliberal No Opinion is on board with fucking $15 minimum wage.
9
like,
months, Pog.
it's so fucking stupid, dude. It's ridiculous. He is just trying to throw wrenches at the problem as best as he can. Joe Manchin party switch when? No, that's not good. That's not good for Joe Manchin to fucking switch parties. They're voting on removing Marjorie Taylor Greene live.
Caused by this mass.
They're not right now. Okay. Anyway. Can you provide small business with a tax credit to offset the increase in minimum wage? Well, those motherfuckers are not going to fucking, they're not going to use that tax credit to offset the costs of the wage increase anyway. There are ways that you can do it, though, for sure. How come when we say 15 minimum wage, we don't mention it goes to 15 right away and raises slowly every year by $1? The minimum wage shall not be asked for small business? No, that's not. No, it should be asked for small businesses as well.
Is he talking index by region or index with inflation rate?
No, he's talking in. No, my guy. Conservatives don't advocate to fucking index minimum wage by inflation. They only talk about lowering the fucking minimum wage price by saying like, oh, we got to make it lower for different regions. And people immediately fucking rush to talk about how, well, what about West Virginia? What works in California can't work in West Virginia. Bitch, California's already going to hit $15 minimum wage. There's places that already have $15 minimum wage right now. Okay? There's places that have higher minimum wage in this country than the $7.25. Minimum wage increases at the federal level will allow workers to be able to advocate for a higher, or not workers, is there's no way to fucking organize labor in a meaningful way, unfortunately. But it will allow organizations beyond labor unions and even labor unions in the form that they currently exist to be able to fucking push for an even larger increase in their prices. Okay? And again, even the Congressional Budget Office, whose estimates are very conservative, shows that despite the fact that some job loss may occur, okay, as a consequence of the minimum wage increase, which there isn't enough evidence on regardless, okay, that more than 2 million people will be lifted out of poverty. Do you understand? That is gigantic. That's a huge fucking deal. Yeah, conservatives always love to say a rising tide lifts all boats. This is literally a rising tide that would lift all boats. Coal miners here are convinced they're making bank at $18 an hour, not worth risking your life if minimum wage is almost the same. Again, that's so stupid, because if the minimum wage is increased at the federal level to $15, now coal miners can say, well, we're fucking risking our lives. We want $20. That's it. And the real losers in the minimum wage argument are not the fucking workers themselves. The real losers in this argument are the fucking small business owners, or big business owners, really, if you will, the large business owners who could technically pay for that minimum wage right now, but aren't doing so. And they're never going to do it unless the government literally makes it illegal not to. Okay? I make $100 an hour in a labor union. Well, that must mean you're not a worker, brother. If you make $100 an hour that your labor union fought for you and those wages, you get a greater percentage of the profits that you generate for your company. That means you're no longer a worker, brother. That's how it works. I'm very smart, by the way. You're not a worker now, bitch. This is actually a fucking argument people make. It's just great. Wouldn't average Joe Andy just want to work at big businesses then? Why wouldn't they stay working at small businesses? Sorry, genuinely asking. Because one, small businesses are not going to get fucking evaporated as a consequence of the minimum wage price hikes, okay? And two, they could literally do that right now. Why don't they do it? It's so dumb, right? It's a dumb question to ask. Why do you still work? Why do you still work for the company that you work at? Why don't you go to a much larger company? I don't know. Are they asking? Are they going to give me more money? Is that what's happening right now? It is unfathomable to question how things are currently. It is so insane. We are so far removed. We are so far removed from ever demanding a larger share of the profits from bosses that, like, workers themselves argue and bicker endlessly about increasing the fucking minimum wage, which will ultimately be good for them. Okay? Like, none of you, for the most part, statistically speaking, are fucking small business owners who employ like 3 or 4 people and are at the fucking verge of profitability, and you are no longer going to be able to hire as many people if the minimum wage increase happened tomorrow. And yet you're over here having this fucking argument. And neither is your family either, by the way. My family is bullshit, dude. That's what your dad says, and that's what your dad thinks, but that's not the fucking reality. And again, you can offset some of that price. You can offset some of that cost onto the prices regardless. You can implement a price hike on certain goods. It's not the end of the fucking world. A 20-cent increase goes a long goddamn way. Let me tell you what your reality is, Pepega Clap. Dude, if your business model demands, if your father's business model and if your business model virtually demands you to pay less than a fucking living wage in this country to survive, then why don't you just fucking enslave people too? Why don't you use child labor? Like, this is an idiotic fucking argument. Oh, sorry. Like, I know that my father employs a bunch of people and they're currently making less than fucking a living wage, okay, to pursue a dignified existence, to have a shelter over their fucking heads. That's just the only way that this business can work. Well, okay. Well, I guess your father needs to go back and pick themselves up by their fucking bootstraps and start working. Okay? And this is something that a chatter said, and it's such a fucking good take that I repeat it all the time now, which is the worst thing that can happen to a business owner, a small business owner, is literally having to be relegated back to worker status. That's the hilarity for so many people, is that they hate being a worker so bad that the fear of being a worker prevents them from fucking increasing increasing prices, increasing their wages for their workers. It's wild. Because they themselves recognize, like, well, fuck, man. If there's another boss out there that's going to be exactly like me, that's going to, I would never want to do that. Intrinsically, they understand that being a worker is so much worse than being a fucking a boss. Because when you lose your business, and there is plenty of protective measures for those who do lose their businesses, or there's bailouts, there's a lot of different ways that you can try to turn that around. Not the same for fucking workers. right?
I ever feel proud to be a Jew?
Not as many protections are created for workers, but there are certainly a lot for business owners, right? Like, when you lose your business, you don't get fucking executed. You don't go to prison. When you lose your business, that means you have to start back and start working again. And that is the fear that stops people from fucking ever like wanting to do something that might in the short term hurt their profit margin. What the Oh shit, I got the wrong person. I think. Fuck. Sorry, Darkgate. Oh, Fizz already fucking clapped him. Nice. Jesus Christ. I unbanned them.
It'll be decimated for the little rural areas. But 725 is not absolutely anywhere reasonable whatsoever. It needs to be raised. I just basically used a formula that says, here is what the family of three poverty guidelines should be above, and that's where we should have it. And base and start it, and then index it so we never fall below that. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of people think it makes sense, and if we go there, let's have a good conversation. This is not the place to do it.
Okay, so we'll debate the number another day, but should it be attached to this? I mean, if you're willing to compromise, and at the top of this interview, you said it doesn't, have to be $2 trillion, it could be 1.9, it could be another number. Can you get other Republicans to join in a compromise?
Oh, most certainly. I think that they're willing to.
No, we can't. No, you can't, bitch. There's no way. And the way to go about it is not this way, okay? Even if you want to force Republicans to compromise, you literally force them to compromise by forcing a uncompromisable position by saying, fuck you, we don't need you. If you want, you can come to our side and argue on our side of the fucking table. But we don't need you. We're going to pass this through budget reconciliation. Here's how you don't fucking compromise, by saying, oh yeah, let's hurt ourselves before we even get to the fucking table to bargain, which is what Democrats have done for so long. And it's so fucking stupid. And that's what Joe Manchin wants to do because he's a fucking idiot.
We've got a good group. We've been working. We trust each other. We have a lot of good conversations. It's grown to 20. We have 10 Republicans, 10 Democrats. It keeps growing. More people want to be involved because they want to get something done. We're there to support leadership. If leadership hits a roadblock and they can't go any further, then basically maybe we can help them a little bit. We did that.
But like, he's literally, it's funny because he's filling bags of sand, okay? He's on his way filling bags of motherfucking, what Biden told Dems in the House, what? Wait, what? What the fuck just happened? Oh, it's mobile. That's why I was like, what? Why is that white? My eyes. Anyway, as I was saying, Joe Manchin is literally filling up bags of sand, okay? In the process of like building out a roadblock while simultaneously saying, well, I'm trying to actually avoid roadblocks from happening. It's like, bitch, put the sandbag down then. Why are you literally trying to put a fucking additional hurdle while simultaneously talking about how like, oh, well, we want to avoid hurdles? Well, bitch, don't be a hurdle then.
In December, we were able to break a logjam there. Common sense. No one thought them.
If you know anything about Manchin's history, he'll kick up a big fuss and then eventually vote in line anyway for the big votes, for the inconsequential ones who occasionally side with the Republicans for appearance of West Virginians. Well, West Virginians are not on fucking Joe Manchin's side in this circumstance, but yes, you're right. Joe Manchin is going to vote with the Democrats on this. I've said this already. The Democrats are actually doing a good job. Like Kamala Harris going to Arizona and Kamala Harris going to fucking West Virginia and appearing on local television is literally a good thing. That was surprisingly what Bernie Sanders wanted to do as well and said he was going to do if he was the president. They are doing a good job. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but the Democratic leadership so far has done a good fucking job on this. So he can suck my left nut. It doesn't matter what he's saying here. It's just he loves to be at the heart of the story, I guess.
Republicans will go off of 500. They went to 908. So things will happen. And everyone's thinking, they offered 600.
I got to pee, but it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 6-second ad break right now. This video is going to keep going. If you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know the deal. You can do it for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. I'm going to go pee right now. You can get those primers out. Here's the ad. Here's the video. I got to go
further than that. They know they have to.
Senator Manchin's Willie Geist, good to see you this morning. Do you think it's important? I'm doing all right, thank you. Do you think it's important strategically and for the future of the way you all work together under President Biden that this is a bipartisan bill? Or is it more important to push through and get the money out the door just as quickly as you can, as Chuck Schumer has suggested?
Well, you know, I strongly disagreed going down the path we're going down. I spoke to the
reconciliation.
Reconciliation right now. I thought you should try everything bipartisan. We've done 5 bills before. They were all bipartisan, but over 90 votes, the last 5 last year, which totaled about $4.8 trillion. You put the $900 billion that we just passed, now you're at $5.7 trillion. So we have not been holding back. We've been putting money out there, keeping things really propped up and going. There's still people hurting. There's people hurting with housing. There's people hurting basically because the pandemic is going on longer than what we thought. The vaccines and the breath of fresh air is having President Biden come in and put some direction and some supervision and leadership. It's been wonderful. So we know where we're going now. He said, basically, I don't want to go down the path we went down in 2009 when we negotiated for 8 months and still didn't have a product and had to do what they're doing now. I says, fine, Mr. President, I'm happy to start this process, but I'm not going to bust the bird rule. I'm not going to basically get rid of the filibuster. We are going to work in a bipartisan way. He says, I respect that and I understand. And so we have a great understanding. We know where we're going, and let's see if we can make this bipartisan. Chuck Schumer said it would be, and I believe everybody, and we'll see what happens.
So then, Senator, where is the give if you want it to be bipartisan?
Oh, haha. No, I did not bring a drink back. Boys, I did not bring a drinky back, dude. The drinky. No, I'm still on my coffee part of the day.
And obviously, as you know, you're going to have to negotiate a little bit with at least those 10 Republicans who went and met in the Oval Office a couple of nights ago. Their plan, the $618 billion plan that they presented, is too low for most Democrats. They want to take out the minimum wage hike. They want to take out direct money to states and to cities. So what do you give up to get that bipartisan passage?
Well, the minimum wage hike, I do not believe will fit in there at all. We need a good, robust discussion on this, and like Meek and I were just talking, you've got to find common ground there where we can start so little rural states and rural areas don't get basically...
The funniest part about it is, like, whenever people say, well, nobody factored in, states and, like, state price hikes, first of all, what do you think? Do you think they were just, like, working the Democratic Party that loves means-tested programs? You think the guys who wrote that policy literally didn't consider small businesses in fucking West Virginia? Like, shut the fuck up, idiot. Of course they did. It's ridiculous.
That's for radicalizing.
It's ridiculous to just, like, counter by saying, like, oh yeah, well, we gotta just, like, have a separate conversation about the minimum wage. No, the reason why they're saying it,
XQCL.
The reason why they're saying it is because they want to have a separate conversation so they can fucking destroy the $15 minimum wage. That's it.
Decimated by it, and the businesses don't collapse. But on the other hand,
in chat, you guys will never have a high IQ, never will invent anything, will never discover any mathematical theories or beyond. Oh God.
As buff.
Yikes, dude.
the tip wages for restaurants, it would be decimating for them too. We need to have a good, robust discussion. And the big states, you already have $15 in New York. You have $15 in the more metropolitan areas. So we want to make sure that we don't have those poverty wages at $7. That should never be there. That needs to be robust. But the other place,
which is why it needs to be $8.
Proud to be part of the educated,
which is great.
Has buff.
Listen, the minimum wage can't be $7. It needs to be $8, which will greatly improve the living conditions of West Virginians.
3 months watching Love the Stream, Hassan.
places is there's places that they might not have agreed or not have gotten into discussion with the president. They're willing to sit down and let's see where they have an amendment, a reasonable amendment. If they